Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Manifest Tarot. Thank you for joining me for today's reading. And I keep on kind of clarifying this reading. I've been calling it a Your Week Ahead reading, but I think of it as more than that. I actually think of it kind of as a manifesting your manifesting your future, or manifesting possibility, or mountain of possibility, kind of a peek into what is available to you each week. A weekly check-in into what is available to you. That's more what I'm thinking of it as. So I think I'm going to stop calling it a Your Week Ahead reading, because it's so much more than that. It is your week ahead, but it could be your life ahead. So I think I'm going to start calling it manifesting your future, or something along those lines. I'm gonna have to decide before I post this reading. But this reading is always filled with so much possibility. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you for joining me. So I've got 3 decks already set out here. This deck, I'm going to show you the artwork on the top, simple artwork, and then I'm also going to show you the card on the bottom. This is the Empress. I always just show you, when I take these out, these are always just from after the last time I used the deck. This is the one that was on the bottom. So this is the Empress. And along with this one, this is the Lapis Lazuli hexagonal point. And I'm going to keep out each of these bottom cards. I'm going to keep out as as one of the cards for each pile's reading. And then this is the next deck. And the bottom card is the Moon. This Moon card has come out a lot. I guess I'll leave it up like this. And the crystal is this red Jasper oval with the white spot. And this is the third deck. This is such a beautiful artwork on the backs. And then the bottom deck is this the bottom card is the 7 of Swords. It's such a peaceful illustration. And the crystal is this Unakite heart. And this one has little bits of red and the green. So take as much time as you need to pick your pile, and you can do it by anything that you want. Let me think. I'm going to think of a phrase for each pile, and I'll be back in a second. I'm going to think of a phrase for each card. Okay, so I'm back. So I have 3 phrases, and I'm also going to put those phrases on the timestamp, so if you want to look at everything together. So this first one, the phrase is fertile darkness. That's pile number 1. Pile number 2, the phrase is dare to succeed. And pile number 3, the phrase is stabilize your mind. So pick with whatever you want. The phrase I just told you, the artwork, the card meeting, the crystals, pile number, however you want, whatever moves you. And of course, I will leave the timestamps below and see you in your reading. Hi, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. You picked, of course, this deck with the Empress card. And I'm going to take this off. We're going to use this as part of our reading. Let me show it to you. I'll put this up here for now. Fertile darkness is the phrase I am using to describe this card for us today. Let's put your, oh wait, we're going to put this down here because it's going to be in the center of our arc of meaning, our arc of intention. So here's this, and I have this oracle. I have 2 oracle decks that I'm going to use. This one is number 1. Let us ask it for something for our, I think it's this one wants to come out. And then I have these 2 tea leaf piles, and I will shuffle these. Take this one. These things are so squirrely. They just have this pent up desire to go everywhere. So we'll channel that into their helping us to understand your manifesting potential. All right, so let's reveal the oracle cards first. So we have this ivory wish fulfilling crow. Wow, pile number 1. Look at this. This is card number 39. So gorgeous. We want to have wish fulfillment, a wish fulfilling crow. All right, and with these 2, we have Valley, deep personal strength and peace that assures success. I guess assure success. Deep personal strength and peace that assure success. This looks like, what is that in California? The, oh gosh, hold on, I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, it kind of looks like Yosemite to me on first glance. All right, there's this, and then we have rainbow. The most difficult part of a situation is over. Wow. Pile number 1, you're getting some like awesome cards here. You've got wish fulfillment, beautiful, this beautiful view with this deep personal strength and peace that assures success, and the most difficult part of a situation is over. Bah! Wow. All right, so this is your main deck, the one that you chose. So I'm going to pull 4 cards from this. So we're still going to stay with our 7 position reading like we have been doing, but it's just so much more than a Your Week Ahead reading. 2, 3, and actually this one. So this goes here, and then this is the, I'm going to pull, I think, yeah, 3 cards from this one, 3 cards from this one, this one is being a little reticent today. The tea leaves couldn't wait to get out, and this one's kind of being shy. And then we have this one. We're going to pull 2 cards from this one. my gosh. Here we go. So we have our whole stack of cards here. So this is the first card. We still have 7 positions, so you still could, if you like the Your Week Ahead format, you can think of things as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so forth, each day of the week. So this would start with, we start with Sunday, if you want to think of this as Sunday, but this is your past. And again, this is the recent past for most of you. So let's see. The Fates. This is, of course, the Wheel of Fortune. I've said it before, it looks like they probably didn't think of it like, or mean it to be like this, but it looks like an apple peel. If you can peel the whole apple in one long strand, it's an apple peel. Even though it has writing on the reverse. But still, to me, it looks like an apple peel. So yes, Wheel of Fortune is our first card. Your wheel is trending upward. Your wheel is trending upward, definitely. Pile number 1 with all of these fortunate oracle cards. So this is the second card. This is your present. Page of Wands. Look at all this potential. Page of Wands with these beautiful flowers and her gramophone hat. The third card is the Future. And this is the near future, like the near future that, I mean, just the near future, let's say that for now. So this is the Two of Wands, and if you notice, it looks like you really can't tell whether this is supposed to be, and it's probably, hopefully it's intentional. You can't tell if this is a doorway or a mirror that's not reflecting the reality that we see. We see this as reality. We see this as reality, and we see this as a reflection. But is it really reflecting this reality? Is it supposed to be reflecting this reality? Is it not? Or is this a doorway into a different reality? We don't know what's going on in this card. It's all very intricate. Anyway, but the Two of Wands is your future. There's going to be some looking forward. It's funny, you're going to be, in your future, you're going to be looking forward, which is great because we don't want to be stagnant, right? This is the fourth card. This is advice. This could also be Wednesday. The Hermit. Now she is really looking at her reflection. This one, if this is supposed to be a mirror, it's not reflecting the reality that she's in. But this one, she's really seeing her reflection. The Hermit. And now this one is something external to you. Pile number 1, your the outside world, the 3D. It could be just the whole environment at large. It could be a single person. It could be a group of people. It could be an organization. It could be anything like that. Some natural thing, like a natural force. The Lovers. All right. And now we have the last two, the last two positions I pulled 2 cards for. Sorry, I was just a little bit confused for a second. So this is things that are hidden from you. They could be something that Well, they don't necessarily have to be things that are hidden from you. It could be something that is helping you, could be something that's hindering you. It's usually something, I should say, that's hidden from you for now. Or if you're seeing it, you're not seeing the whole picture, maybe you're seeing part of it. So, Queen of Swords is card number 1 for this position. And then the second card is Temperance for the second card in this position. And then this is the resolution, final outcome. Final sounds so final, so I don't necessarily like that, but it's, you know, the resolution of this thing, should you choose to accept what it is. Should you choose, this is a possible outcome that you can manifest. I'll put it that way. This is the first card, the Hanged Man. Wow, your second Hanged Man. That seems significant. Look at these 3 bats hanging out. And then let us see this one. The 8 of Swords. Creating a new continent for birds, maybe? Very interesting. Look at that. It's the North Pole. It looks like, to me, this looks like the North Pole is like most of the world, and then the little continents are so tiny. And the bird is outlining its space for the new continent that it wants to be just for avians. I've getting a lot out of this card already, so give me a second because I ran out of room because I took a lot of oracle cards. So give me a second, I'll rearrange these so we can see them all clearly. Pile number 1, there's a very clear message that I'm seeing, and it's kind of explained to you in a couple different ways. Very fascinating. So the first card, this is your past. This is the Wheel of Fortune, and it's really clear what we have here, which is you've got this new thing going on where you have worked hard at something or some things, and a new chapter in your life is opening up. We've got this wish fulfillment crow. We've got deep personal strength and peace that assures success. We've got the most difficult part of a situation is over. So this is telling us that your hard work has made the wheel turn, and you're coming up into a new cycle. There's probably something that happened in your past that was not very happy. Let's just say, I don't know, you know, you're going to be able to tell, you know more what it is that you experienced than I do from these cards, but there's something that you've wanted to say goodbye to, and it's leaving. That's a big thing. And you know, there might be some sadness to your letting go, because a lot of times we hang on to something that we don't necessarily want and that we know is not good for us, because we're afraid to let it go. Even if it's bad for us, we're afraid to let it go because we don't think that, like, we're just used to it, or we don't think we're going to find anything better, or for a myriad of different reasons, we might not want to say goodbye to something, even though we know we should. So with this, it's definitely, you are going to be, you already have been saying goodbye, and so much so that the new chapter, you've turned to a new chapter. The Page of Wands, we have just a lot of new possibilities opening up for you. We've got a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of, do you know how this was saying, I was saying at the beginning that the phrase for this pile is fertile darkness. This is one of the things, and I know she's in the sunlight, but it's kind of an extension of that, is that she is just trying out new things. You've got a lot of possibilities, and you've got a lot of you're concentrating a lot on trying new things. You're trying new things, you're considering new things, you are contemplating. She doesn't, that's the thing though, is that look at her posture and look at her gaze. She's playing this record, but she's not really paying attention to it. She's looking away. She's already, she's in, so this is your present. But look at what you're doing, as you know, illustrated by this card. You are trying things out, but you're already looking away at the next thing, even as you're doing something. There's kind of a sort of feeling that you're not even giving anything a fair chance because you're going on to the next thing pretty quickly. So I'm wondering what this is for you, that you're, and there's a message pertaining to this, so we're going to get to it. So keep that in mind as we go forward. So this Two of Wands, this is a very complex card. So this Two of Wands is you, pile number 1. You are continuing on with this trying new things. You're wondering what you're going to do. This thing has ended, and of course this thing that you've been working on, letting go of or not, or maybe trying to grasp onto it and it's gone anyway. This thing is out of your life. The wheel has turned into this new chapter in your life, for to mix a metaphor, and very favorable cards. And there's something that has gone from your life, so things have to come in to fill it. Okay? That's just the way we are. We don't have something go out of our life and then just go on, like go into hibernation to like permanent hibernation and not do anything in that time. You know, whatever was taking up our time, our energy, our resources, something else is going to come up to fill those. So what we see here is you trying out new things and wondering what, it's kind of like this Page of Wands, wondering what your best course forward is. And both of these to me are telling me that you're gonna, it's not necessarily frenetic energy, but you're definitely looking around, doing stuff, trying out one thing, but your mind isn't even necessarily on that thing before you're on to the next thing. You're not giving anything really the nicest try. You know, you're not chance. You're already on to the next thing. But this Two of Wands is a consideration card, like a wondering what's out there card, a portal into a new world. She's walking through these two wands into someplace new, but there's even another new thing right here which she's not even paying attention to. There's a lot of not necessarily missed opportunities, but missed consideration, which brings us to our first Hermit card. This Hermit card, there's two Hermit cards. Oh no. What was I thinking? I was thinking you had two Hanged Man cards. So funny. But they're saying pretty much the same thing. So funny, I thought that. So interesting. There's something going on about this Hanged Man and this Hermit that are the same energy. the Hanged Man and the Hermit are telling you that pretty much the same thing here. The Hermit is telling you that it doesn't have to be a long time, but there is a time for you to have some consideration of your path forward, and there's going to be some time for you to actually look in the mirror and see yourself and see what you, pile number 1, want. Instead of being out in the world trying all these new things and not giving any of them a fair chance to capture your attention enough to say, like, okay, this is what I choose to fill my time from this thing that has ended. So stepping back into yourself to see what you, pile number 1, want is crucial right now. So this is your advice card. I should have said this. Anyway, this is your advice, is to settle back into yourself right now and make sure, hey, am I, pile number 1, on the right track? Am I just grasping at the first thing I see to fill my this vacuum I have in my life? A classic example, and of course this doesn't have to be this is just an example. A classic example would be a rebound relationship that ends up not working out, not working out. And as a conscious manifester, you can manifest a relationship that you do want, and it could be a renewal of a relationship that has ended, or it could be new relationship. It doesn't matter. The point is, pile number 1, that if you're going to manifest something consciously, you need to be consciously aware of what you do want, enough to ask for it. And this Hermit card is saying, look within yourself. The answer doesn't lie in the outside world, in the 3D world. The answer lies within yourself. You're going to be able to answer the question of what you want so much more quickly than if you're running around in the 3D trying out a whole bunch of things, asking other people for advice, not looking within yourself. So that's what this advice card is. So then we come to this very interesting environment card. The environment is what's any sort of external influence. It could be your environment at large, where you live. It could be a certain person, one specific person. It could be a group of people. It could be, even could be natural forces like the weather, something like that. Something outside, external to yourself. Something in the 3D. Something definitely. This is definitely the 3D card. It could be just read as the 3D. And we have this Lover's card. There's some sort of, it could be both, to tell you the truth. It could be you could have this thing that ended for you, this cycle that has ended and that is starting anew. It could have been a relationship that has ended. And it could be that you are trying to manifest, I hate saying trying to manifest. It could be that you're working on manifesting this relationship back, or it could be that you are manifesting new love. It could be that. Or this Lover's card, if there's no relationship aspect to this thing that has ended, then it's going to be the choice of what you do want and what you don't want. It could be saying, there's something that you might think you want, but some contemplation would tell you, yes, I, pile number 1, don't necessarily really want that. I, pile number 1, want this instead. There could be something like that. Or it could be looking inside, it could be looking inside yourself. It could be just an extension of this Hermit, which would be funny because this is supposedly the 3D card. But if you really are having I don't want to say struggle, if you're really having like if your self-concept is really struggling because of what what has ended in your life, even if you know it was bad for you, this thing that has ended in your life might be affecting your self-concept. So you could even approach this as looking at yourself as if you are a different person, if you're understanding what I'm saying. You could put yourself as part of the 3D. Think about yourself as part of the external world to maybe love yourself better. One example of this would be somebody that talks to themselves negatively all the time, and somebody says, well, would you say that to your friend? Would you say the nasty things that you say to yourself about yourself to your friend? Hopefully not. But you can be your best friend, and you can be the one that you love the most. So getting some distance from, not distance as in, you know, pushing away, but getting some distance from this mucking around in the 3D to just observing the 3D and observing yourself as you relate to the 3D and observing yourself as you relate to yourself. This whole thing is crucial to how you find your path forward, to how you find the fullest expression of all of this joy and coming to the end of one cycle and beginning a new cycle that we see in your oracle cards. So now we come to this 6th position, which is something that might be helping you, something that might be hindering you, something that's probably hidden from you, or at least some of it is hidden from you. You know, something that's probably some, or if not all of it, is hidden from you. And that could be, of course, progress in the 3D from your manifestations. This could be seen, if that's applicable to you, as movement in the 3D, which is not clear to you right now. That could be one way to look at this position. So that, but the interesting card, the interesting thing about these cards is that these are really very internal cards. And I'm thinking that in this case, what is hidden from you is something internal to you that you are being reminded of. The Queen of Swords is perception, like clear perception and clarity of thought that cuts through any obfuscation. And Temperance is putting that clear thought into action. So these two cards are so well suited to each other, and they're also so well suited to this advice that you're getting, that instead of looking out into the 3D for your cues, you're looking within, and you're, even if this is applicable to you, finding that love of yourself, loving yourself more than you love anybody else. And then through that clarity, you're going to find and put into action exactly what you want to get exactly what you do want in the 3D. So cleaning your mind to clean up your 3D. Because, pile number 1, these are the two promises this is like the resolution. And so these are the two options that are promised to you. You can either spend some time thinking about what you want and considering it and successfully getting where you want, where you truly want, or you're going to be Eight of Swords is just helpless, feeling helpless and hopeless and trapped. You can either spend time voluntarily thinking about what you want and finding your purpose, finding your next way forward, finding your path to all of this happiness, or you can not do that and you can stay in this kind of like frenzied 3D focused world and end up being very despairing. This is a kind of a weird and cheerful little illustration for a pretty trapped, despairing card, which is kind of funny. So you have an either or, you have a very binary choice, and which is kind of echoing this Lover's card, which could be seen as like a binary choice card. And so then I'm saving for the last these oracle cards because they're so beautiful. I know I've talked about them before, but we have this Fertile Darkness, Ivory Wish-Fulfilling Crow, the promise that your deep personal strength and peace are assuring success, and also the promise that the most difficult part of a situation is over. And that means that to get this success that you so truly want, you are going to have to get that strength of purpose. And peace doesn't mean you have to zen out every day. Peace doesn't mean you have to be happy every day. Peace doesn't mean you have to be perfect. There's nothing like about that. It's just that you have to have that clarity of thought to know exactly what you want, pile number one. And then once you do, once you know what you want, once you take that step back and understand what you want, then you can put it into practice. And once you put everything that you want and everything that you know into practice, then you can become this successful, beautiful, not become the person, but your life can become the successful and beautiful haven that you've always wanted. And remember, one of Neville's famous quotes is to be a doer of the word, not a hearer only. He's saying, put into practice what you know as a conscious manifester. Don't just listen to things over and over. Put into practice all of that information that you have learned. It's very addicting. This could be something, this is a great example. It can be very addicting to listen to lectures over and, like just continually listen to lectures. It's a very soothing thing. Listen to content about manifesting, for example. But you then at some point have to put it into practice, or you're never going to achieve what you want. And it's right there for you. This is your promise that you definitely already can and have achieved what you want. You just have to put it into practice. Step into what you actually want. This is your very beautiful and complex reading, pile number one. It's so fabulous to have you here. Please comment down below with what you are working on if you want to, or comment down below about any of this if you feel like this is the missing thing that you have been looking for, is to step into your own mind and find out what you do want. So let me know in the comments. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any future readings. And I know I will see you very soon. Bye for now. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose this moon card along with this deck. And let's put this aside here for now while we and this red Jasper crystal. While we get our oracle cards. So this is the first one, this is your card that you chose. So we're going to use that as one of the oracle cards. And we're going to take one card from this oracle deck. They're such huge cards. Oh, you know what? I got a glimpse of this one, so it looks like we're going to be getting this one. The Magnetism of Eros. It's a beautiful card. And then we're going to take one card from each of these two decks. Let us, I think it's this one. And then let's take one from this little, section. I didn't even shuffle once and it already popped right out. All right, so we have yoke, feeling tied down or frustrated. That's so funny because a yoke is so it's like a yoke is often positive to me, like working together and, supported. So we'll see what the meaning of this is with the other cards. So the second one is stork, news of a birth or a new business opportunity. How nice. They're building their little nest. All right, so this is your main deck. So we're going to choose 4 cards from this one to start out. And, whoa, there's that, there's that. It's so funny because this deck was being so, I was having a hard time, not hard time, but, it was being a little shy about giving me the cards on pile number 1s, but this one is just jumping out at me. Those cards were jumping out, and I'm going to pull 3 cards from this deck. And then this one. And I'm going to pull 2 cards from this deck. We always have to wake up the cards. We always have to wake up the cards. All right. So remember, your phrase was daring to succeed. So I'm so curious as to what these cards are going to say. So this is your past. And recent, for most of you, it's going to be the recent past. This is the Knight of Pentacles. And it's so funny because it says daring to succeed, and the Knight of Pentacles, you could say it's an obsession to succeed through steady progress. Steady progress, steady perfection, steady pursuit of perfection. Now this is your second card. This is your present. Wow, the 4 of Swords. Peaceful break. And this is your future, your near future. Temperance. This card came up in pile number 1. And then this is advice. Wow, the 9 of Swords. Your advice is keep a sword handy. Keep a sword handy in your bed. All right, so this card, card number 5, this is your environment. This is something external to you. This is the 3D card. This card represents the 3D. It could represent a person. It could represent a force of nature. It could represent a bunch of people. Anything in the 3D. The Fool. Wow, how interesting. We're going to see how that works out with the other cards. So for the last 2 positions, I pull 2 cards. This position is something that might help you, something that might hinder you, something that might be hidden or maybe mostly hidden, you know, at least partially hidden. So it could be any of those things or multiple. You know, it could be something that has the potential to help or hinder, some mixture of those 3 things. So let's see. The World. Wow. I would say that most of the time this is going to help you. Maybe that what's helping you is this lantern that you're going to be able to shine to see how beautiful your world, the potential of your world is. The second card is the King of Wands. Wow, the embodiment of the manifesting desire to manifest. And you know what's funny? I'm already starting the reading here. I haven't even looked at the last 2 cards, but do you see the figure down there in the world? Well, that figure could be this lizard or whatever it is, because this torch could be this torch, this lantern. So you could be the King of Wands figure embodied into this world. So wow, pretty interesting. So what's helping you might be just your vision of your future. Your vision of your future that you're holding so steadily as a conscious manifester to guide your world forward. And this is the resolution that is offered to you, like a choice that you have. So we have the 7 of Swords. The 7 of Swords keeps on coming up in a lot of my readings lately, and as usual, she is holding the swords by their blades, which I 100% don't recommend. I can 100% say that I do not recommend that. And then we have the High Priestess. Dare to succeed. Look at her. She's daring to succeed. She has a whole bunch of ideas and blueprints. Another thing about like focusing on what you do want, not what you don't want. So give me a second. Let me just rearrange this. I see that you don't see all of the cards. I will be right back. Well, pile number 2, I'm seeing that this yoke, remember I was saying that yokes to me is, could be, I was wondering if it was going to come out as a positive connotation or negative, because obviously the connotation of feeling tied down or frustrated is not necessarily very positive. So we have I'm reading this as positive because we have this magnetism of Eros. Magnetism is drawing these 2 figures together. And what's going to happen when they're together? They're going to be connected. Maybe not, maybe not tied together. Like this is a literal thing that's going to bind them together. But no, but energetically they're coming together. That's what this magnetism is. That's what and then they're going to yoke together, and it's positive. Because if you're in love with someone, or if you're in love with someone, or if you're interested in having a relationship with them, obviously you're going to want to be together. And so your oracle cards are saying that this is positive. This yoke is positive. That's what I'm seeing. Plus, if this is not love, if this is well, I mean, magnetism of Eros is pretty love, but you could be seeing this, you know, it could be yoked together as a business opportunity, or you could be, the third option is you could have both a relationship and a business opportunity coming together all at once, which is a major thing. And this, remember the phrase I had for this card is daring to succeed. Daring to succeed. And what's better than daring to succeed in both love and business? Not much more, right? So let's get into this. This is your past. This is your past. I see some past focus, very big focus on manifesting wealth and success. Very big focus on that, which is great because obviously we've got this news of a birth or a new business opportunity. So this business opportunity is coming out of this huge push you have been doing, and it's so diligent. I mean, it's the thing about the Knight of Pentacles is the Knight of Pentacles energy is just 100% ignoring the 3D. The Knight of Pentacles says, what should I do that, you know, will bring me on the path of success? And the path to success is in his mind and in his vision. He's envisioning this big gold pentacle might not be real. This might be a figment of his imagination, which he is manifesting into reality. So what the Knight of Pentacles does is say, what's the step that's going to take me to this dream of being wealthy? He thinks about it, he imagines it, and then he takes it. And then he's and then, you know, in that position, he says, what is the next thing I should do? He thinks about it, he imagines it, and then he takes that next step. So you have been doing this with, it looks like nary a sign of progress in the 3D. You have been working and working in, I don't want to say obscurity, but you've been working without any sort of sign of progress in the 3D, which is kudos to you, pile number 2, because it's difficult to keep your focus when nothing is happening in the 3D, and that's great that you, congratulations to you for doing so. Then we've got this 4 of Swords. This 4 of Swords is a little bit of a rest, and this came up in pile number 1 as well. This feeling, or this not feeling, this, and not even desire, it's like a necessity of going within and taking a step back from the 3D, and which it looks like you've been doing in your, you know, your success track. We've got this, you know, success in relationship and success in business, both. So you might be, you know, we're all manifesting several things, whether we admit it or not. So what you might be doing is manifesting success in, you know, your money, career, something like that, and also in your relationship. So you've been working away at your career and your abundance, but you might need to take a step back on your another manifestation, whether it's a relationship, whether it's something else, maybe it's a relationship with a family member. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but there's something in your life that you're really, it's going to bring you so much peace and happiness to take a step back and just go and say, I, pile number 2, I'm checking in with myself. Do I still want this thing? Or do I feel like I am how should I say this? Do I still want this thing, or am I still chasing it because I'm habituated to chase it? Chase as in, consciously manifest it, think about it, affirm for it. There's something that's going to give you a ton of peace if you reevaluate it. And if you reevaluate your manifestation and you say, yes, I still really want that, then that's great. But I think there's a little checking in that needs to happen, and this is your present. This position is your present. And so it doesn't have to be like 40 days. It can be just a few hours or even half an hour. But there's some little bit of stepping back energy that is coming through the ear, just like stepping back and saying, hey, I've got my timer set, I've got my timer set for 3 o'clock every day to do a half an hour of affirmations. Maybe just there's one, one day, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, you're going to use that time that you've set aside to do your affirmations. So you can do your affirmations right now, blah, blah, to be like, okay, let me just get in touch with myself. And let me just make sure I'm still doing okay. Me, pile number 2, me, my core, that I am doing what I want to be doing, and that is going to bring you a lot of peace. And then we've got this future. This is the near future position for you, which is continuing on. It's kind of like a outcropping of this Knight of Pentacles, but this is all of your manifestations, all of your conscious manifestations that you've been doing, everything you've been working on. You're going to be putting it all into, not into focus, what am I trying to say? You're going to be putting everything you learned into practice. You're not going to just be thinking about it, you're going to be doing it. And as Neville said, it was in the last one, right? One of Neville Goddard's nice quotable statements is, be a doer of the word, not a hearer only. So it means that if you've got a whole bunch of knowledge about something, in this case conscious manifesting, but you don't actually put it into practice, then you're a hearer of the word and not a doer. So you've been doing in some aspect of your manifestation life, you've been a doer, just going forward. No matter what you see in the 3D, you're just making progress going forward, doing what you should be doing. Another part of, another thing you're manifesting, you might need to just check in with yourself. And that's going to bring you a lot of peace. And then in your near future, everything's coming together and you're able to do everything together in just the way that's going to work for you. Everybody's manifestation journey is different. So no two people can do it exactly the same. What this is saying is you're finding your sweet spot for your manifestation game, very near future. And then we come to this advice card, which is the 9 of Swords, which is a definitive, a definitive, it's like a roadmap to what to do when doubts come up, is you slay the doubt monster. If some sort of self-sabotage comes up, like, oh, I can't do my affirmations because XYZ, like every day you have an excuse as to why this day isn't a good day for you to start your manifestation practice, or why this is a good day to stop your manifestation practice, to halt it, to change it, to, not that you can't change it, not that you can't do those things, but in a self-sabotaging way that, like, instead of making progress, you're always finding a way to stay stuck. You have to slay that doubt monster. And this card is telling you, its clear advice is, take the sword and slay the doubt monster and continue on. Channel your success in this one aspect of your life where you've just been constantly going forward and succeeding at in your manifestation game about something, and you're going to bring it to everything. And as you get better and better at this, you're going to see the self-sabotaging things that you might be doing clearer and clearer, more and more clearly. And the self-sabotaging thing could be, you know, just like what I said, oh, I can't do, today's a really stressful day for me, so I'm just going to let my, you know, my mental diet go down the drain. That's not, I mean, it's good to be busy, because you know what? Sometimes when we're busy, we don't have much time to doubt. We're just so busy, we don't have much time to doubt, right? But if we are not diligent in like the half hour we have during that really extremely busy day, if we're just letting our thoughts run rampant and we're like, oh, you know, nothing works out, I don't even want to repeat those things. If we start saying the opposite of things like everything works out for me, or, you know, I am whatever you want, if you're saying the opposite of what you know you want, then that's it. That you're working against yourself, and you slay that doubt monster. Here, now, this one is really interesting to me. We have environment, others, 3D. We have the Fool. And I think this is our advice to look at the 3D with new eyes. And it's not something like there's not a fool character coming to us. It's us being the fool character to the 3D world, seeing things in a new perspective, not giving things bad meaning. That is something that I see all the time. I am not excluding myself. I do this as well. Seeing things, seeing progress in the 3D, you might be thinking it has to go A, B, C. I have to go A, B, C. You know, I have to see things go A, B, C, or else it's not really progress. And if you were being truthful with yourself, something, and then out in the 3D world, D happens, and you're like, well, that wasn't on my list of A, then B, then C, so D is not part of my manifestation, you know, being fulfilled. Well, no, looking at the 3D with these new, dare I say, rose-colored glasses, where every single thing you see, you give it good meaning, might be just the thing that you need to help with this slaying of the doubt monster. That is your advice. So our 3D position is filled with looking at things with new eyes, a new, fresh perspective, pile number 2, which is so needed sometimes. So needed and so refreshing. So like, oh my God, why did I give this bad meaning? It was neutral, or it might have been, you know, doesn't matter. Giving something good meaning is almost always, I don't know how it could be a bad choice, but it's almost always the best choice, at least almost always, if not always, the best choice. And then we come to this something that might help you, something that might hinder you position, or hidden from you. There is something hidden from you right now, pile number 2, because I can see that most of this world is just complete darkness. But we have two, it's so interesting, as I said already, we have two figures that are doing the same thing, holding up this light source. And we can see also that this King of Wands is standing at the edge of a cave, at the mouth of a cave, because it's got stalactites on it. You are both the observer and the actor in this thing where you can be in the progress of your manifestation unfolding, and yet be able to be dispassionate enough. Oh, dispassionate is not the perfect word, but be able to look at it calmly enough that you allow things to unfold without trying to force them into doing something that might not. Oh, how can I say it? It's just like this looking, it's an extension of looking at things in your 3D with these fresh new eyes. You are going to be carrying this light source with you, which is this conviction that you are a master manifestor. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have been trying to manifest something for 2 years. It doesn't matter. Now, in this moment, pile number 2, you are the one who has the light of your conviction and your knowledge, and you are standing at the mouth of the cave of your wish fulfillment. Your wish fulfillment is right here, and you have been at this cave mouth before, and you have been derailed. You have gone back. You've like turned around and walked away. With whatever happened, I'm not even going to get into it. This time is different. You have a firm grasp of your light source, which is your ability to stay grounded in your own wonderful self-concept, and you are the person now that can brave the cave of your manifestation. And the fact that you are like that right now, that you are that strong, that is what has been hidden from you. Now you are able to see that you are that strong. And again, this daring to succeed is the same thing. She is doing the same thing that these two figures are doing. Standing at the mouth of the cave and knowing that you are the person now that's going to be able to brave that darkness, that unknown that you have been busy manifesting, but you've been busy manifesting and then busy turning away from it the last minute. Very powerful message. Pile number 2. Then we have this resolution. It's so interesting. I'm reminded of this, this yoke. I think it's going to have 2 meanings in this reading, and one of them really is this feeling tied down or frustrated. You have been feeling tied down or frustrated, and you have been taking things into your own hands. Taking things into your own hands, literally cutting your hands by taking these swords into your own hands and holding them by the sword blade. I don't understand. Pile number 2, why do they show characters doing this? But anyway, you have been taking things into your own hands in a way that's literally hurting you. But because you've been feeling frustrated, because you've been wanting movement, so you're trying to force movement, and you've been frustrated. But now, pile number 2, you have the confidence. It's like you can embody this. This is you as the you that has united your desire and your ability to manifest it. There's no other way. I mean, it's so clear that you are in a new, you've jumped into a new reality. You are the person, and you You have jumped into a new reality where you are the person that is able, not just able, you've always been able to, but you're the person who is not just able to manifest what you desire, but you're able to accept that you're the person that's able to manifest your desire. And then, if this is love, you've got this beautiful magnetism of Eros card where you are irresistibly drawn to your partner, and your partner is irresistibly drawn to you. If you're manifesting abundance and career success, you have this beautiful promise from this card. But the biggest thing is pile number 2, that this is embodying your entire reading. You are the person that is now, you've been here before. I just want to reiterate, you've been in this exact position countless times before, where you're just about ready to step into a new reality that you want, but at the last minute you have sunk back into your old reality because you were not yet the person that was ready to face it, and now you are. And now the world is open to you because you have done all the work. You've done all the work, and now you, pile number 2, are ready to open up into your new reality. What a reading. Pile number 2, thank you so much for joining me for this reading. If you have any questions or comments about what you're doing or have been doing, please leave them. I love to read your comments, and I love knowing that we are all here together on this same journey, and that you are on this cusp of this new stage in your journey. How exciting. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe so that you don't miss any future readings. And I know I will see you very soon. Bye for now. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose this 7 of Swords. And you chose this Unakite heart. Let me just show you because it's so intricate. I'll show you both sides. And we're using this as one of the oracle cards. This tarot card. So I'm going to use one card from this deck, this oracle deck. Let's wake them up. You know we have to wake it up. Actually, it's this one. This one. It was this one that wanted to come out. And then I've got 2 stacks of tea leaves, so let's take one card from each little stack. We get a month out of the year. And whoa. This one. These are kind of hard. I keep on saying those tea leaves are kind of hard to control. They're just ready to, at any moment they're ready to fly out into the room. So let's see what this one is. Wow, the Ivory Wish Fulfilling Crow. This came out in pile number 1. So this is card number 39. If you have any interest in pile number 1, you might want to, because this was the only card I pulled from that deck for pile number 1 as well, and it came out July. Very happy card. And we have throne. Ooh, position of authority, pile number 3. What are you doing? You are having some great success here somehow. You will know how wonderful. That's going to feel wonderful. All right, so we have this deck. This is your main deck, so I'm going to pull 4 cards from this deck. Let's jiggle these. We have 1. This came out, so this is 2. And then we are going to pull... Oh, I only pulled 2. I knew that was weird. I'm going to pull 4. So yeah, I only pulled 2, so I'm going to pull 2 more. I kept on not wanting to go on. Here's this. So there's 4 from this deck. I'm going to pull 3 cards from this deck. And then I'm going to pull 2 cards from this deck. Oh no. All right, I'm going to take 3. I don't know how I'm going to fit them all in here, but those 2 really wanted to come out together. All right, so very interesting. Let us see what we have here. Judgment is the first card, and this is from the past, your recent past. Have you moved recently, pile number 3? Have you made some other huge change? Has there been some huge change in your business or your business life, you know, your career or your relationships? There's something that's changed a lot for you. This is card number 2. This is your present. Death card. Wow, talk about change. It's so funny because this is such a funny death card, because there's obviously this very beautiful tulip and this little skeleton is just clattering right over to see it. It's so happy. It's such a happy death card, because in the space of something, a void, something comes to fill the void. Something always comes to fill the void. So this is being, you know, this is representing the thing that has sprung up in the void, that a death of something else has allowed. You know, that something has allowed this tulip the space to grow, to bloom, and to make the skeleton so happy. So then we have this card is the future, the near future. The Queen of Swords. Once again, PSA announcement. I never recommend people holding their swords by the blades. Like all of these tarot deck artists have a penchant for showing their characters holding swords by blades. So I don't know what that is, and I don't approve. I do not approve of that message. All right, so we have that. And this is our advice card. The Page of Cups. What an interesting card. All right, so we have... This card is basically the 3D card. It could be anything in the 3D. It could be a person, it could be a group of people, it could be a natural phenomenon, it could be any single thing in the 3D. The 3 of Wands. How interesting. almost ready to take the plunge. Something's happening. There's imminent progress is happening right now. Maybe behind the scenes, but it's like something is poised to happen. Right, so we have 2 cards for the next position. This is something that might help you, something that might hinder you, something that's probably at least partially hidden. The Star card. And the Queen of Cups. Very interesting. Right, now we have 3 cards for the final position, which is an outcome that is offered to you. Like, you don't have to choose it. You don't have to choose this outcome, but it's one that's being offered to you. So let's see. We have 3 cards for this. The Sun. Wow, who could argue against this outcome, huh? Wow. The next card is the 4 of Swords. It's a beautiful moment of rest. So you have Sun and a moment of interiority. So I'm so curious as to what this is. The Knight of Pentacles. Forward movement, but slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady. Oh gosh. As you can see, we can't see all the cards. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to rearrange these somehow so that we can see all the cards. I'll be right back. So our phrase that we had for this card, this is the card you chose. This is stabilize your mind. Pile number 3, stabilize your mind. Kind of dare to dream, stabilize your mind, dare to dream, dare to, stabilize your thoughts, condense your, not necessarily condense, but compress, like, filter, condense, stabilize your process, your manifestation game, and do exactly what you really want. And it's interesting because we have this seagull. I assume, it looks like a seabird. At least I'll just call it a seagull. And we have this crow. We have 2 birds in our oracle deck. Our oracle cards. So let's take this one by one. We have this past card. This is judgment, and this is something, well, number 1, I just have to point out before I forget. We have the Sun. This is the second, this is the third to last. This is the 19th card in the tarot deck, Major Arcana. And this is the 20th card. This is the penultimate card in the whole deck. This is the Judgment card. These are 2 hugely powerful cards, and you have them in your first position and in your final position of this reading. So I thought that was significant. And they're both very, very fortunate. They're both very fortunate cards. So we have this card number 20, Judgment. And I have to say it is, it's from your recent past, and it's seeming to tell us about something major that has changed for you. You either went on a major trip, or you moved, or a relationship ended. It doesn't have to be romantic. Could be, friendship, could be you might have changed jobs, you might have changed careers even, you might have gone back to school, you might have stopped going to school. Something major changed for you recently. And it could be totally internal in that you didn't necessarily, like looking at you, somebody might not, and you're looking at your life, somebody might never know that you changed something so major. It might have been all internal to you, and the only person that would know is you. But something has shifted majorly for you. And maybe that's one reason why this whole stabilize your mind thing. So you might have thought, at the time, you might have thought like, hey, I am completely, I've handled this great. And there's nothing that I did that was, I wouldn't change anything about what I did. I did everything perfectly, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't mean that you weren't, you might have been carrying around some stress that you didn't even know about. So that might be one reason why you have to kind of fly off on your own for a bit. Stabilize the mind. And this present is kind of an outcropping of this Judgment card, this whole leaving and ending. This Judgment card is kind of like almost like a Tower card. There's some moving on. It's a moving on energy. It's not just that something changed for you. It's that you moved on. You moved up. You moved up from your past circumstances. There's some hard work you did, and it moved you forward and upward. And now, what do we have here? We have this very happy skeleton, this extremely happy skeleton clattering over to this beautiful tulip. What is happening here is this skeleton is so happy that this void has been filled. Everything about this skeleton's life is so much happier now that this tulip has come to grace its world. Look how happy it is. We are being reminded here that it does not matter where. Okay, so for this, all right, so for this skeleton, it doesn't matter where this tulip is growing. It's still beautiful. It's still giving this skeleton so much joy to see this tulip. It's a reminder to us as conscious manifestors that it doesn't matter how our manifestations come to us. It doesn't matter how they are unfolding in the 3D world. It's just that they do unfold. We can't control the manifestations the way they come to us. We just can control how we think about the 3D world, if that makes sense. So this Queen of Swords is in the recent future. This Queen of Swords is telling you to cut through any lingering resistance to hanging on to what. This is really a generating card. Like, it's really generated some stuff in your world and some stuff in your interior. You might have been like, I hate this burrow. I'm leaving. I don't ever want to come back here. And it might have been 100% your choice, but you still might be discombobulated. And you might not have even realized how it affected you for quite a while. So this Queen of Swords is inviting you to cut through any of the I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. It's not even self-delusion, but it's kind of, the cutting through any of the stuff that you were hiding from yourself. That you might have been saying, I, pile number 3, am fine. But in reality, you're like, hey, you know what? I'm not fine. I need to take a day off. I thought that I could move over the weekend and like work 60 hours a week the next week and be fine. But you know what? I need to take a 3-day weekend to get my head in order here. You know, that's just one example. Like if you really did move house, if you, let's say you moved jobs and it's a thing that you wanted to do, like you wanted to go into this new job and you are so happy and you're thinking, I can maintain every single thing, you know, I can learn everything in this new job that I love. You know, I love my new job and I can learn everything. You know how it's like, you know, it's a lot of mental power to learn a new job, and you know, and I can you know, still do every other thing. I can keep on top of my laundry and my you know, cleaning my house and all my family responsibilities and blah blah blah. But you're like, no, you know what? I'm going to take a day off. It's like this whole theme of take a day off. But cutting through this thing of I, pile number 3, have to be perfect. I, pile number 3, have to maintain everybody else's expectations, which in the end is really my expectations. I, pile number 3, am giving everybody else the power to have expectations of me. I, pile number 3, am putting a lot of pressure on myself from this thing that was generating a lot of pressure. So I, pile number 3, can give myself permission to do whatever I need to do to be comfortable, because we can't ignore the 3D. We have to actually, we're an actual human being in a human body. So this Page of Cups is in the advice position. And this Page of Cups is just so enamored of this cup. In the Rider-Waite-Smith artwork, the Page of Cups is looking at, there's a fish jumping out of a cup. In this one, the fish is looking into the cup. And I'm wondering if a little human is going to now jump out of this cup in the next moment. Or maybe a mer person is going to swim out of the cup. I feel like you've been very driven over the past certain amount of time, and you have been really working hard on, you know, your 3D, in your 3D and in your internal landscape, and you really have been working hard and seeing a lot of progress, and everything's working out great. But pile number 3, you are being invited to get more in touch with your maybe you've been looking too long-term. Maybe you've been looking too long-term, you know, like I want this manifestation, I want that manifestation, this and that, you know, like looking out and being like, you know, the end, you know, whatever. But you are being invited to kind of take care of yourself and look into this cup is you. You are being invited to look into your interiority and love that which you find there. Because look at this position of authority here. This position of authority is telling me that you have really been working so hard in the 3D. And at manifesting. You have really been working so hard. You've been really succeeding. But in the end, you have yourself to love. You have yourself to love, and you have yourself to care about, adore, gaze longingly into your reflection. It's something, not longingly, I'm sorry, I mean lovingly. Gaze lovingly at your reflection, you know. As a conscious manifestor, you can call it mirror work, like just looking at yourself and loving what you find reflected in the mirror. And that means that the fish is looking at itself adoringly as it hops out of its own cup. There's something there that you are being invited to admire and appreciate, and that's going to help you stabilize your mind as you are getting used to the new normal that was generated when you did this big thing. This big thing that you had been manifesting that really came to pass. Now you're moving into a new, that's already fact. This is already fact, what has happened. It's already pushed out into the 3D and it's stabilized. So now you're stabilizing your mind into a new normal, into a new manifestation, round of manifestation, if you understand what I'm saying. This card is the environment. It's something external to you. It's the 3D. Well, you know, let's give a shout out to this beautiful dress. Look at these beautiful embroidery things on her dress. It's so pretty. I just had to do a little fashion moment here first. So look at this card. It's pretty self-explanatory. So oops. It's so self-explanatory. It hopped out of my hand. So what is it? Is there somebody urging you to is there somebody urging you to take on their plans? Is there somebody urging you to fall in with their demands? I'm wondering. Is there somebody in your life that you are thinking has a lot of power over you? Is there somebody in your life that you're thinking, hey, I better listen to them. I better really take their wants into consideration. Not that you're not supposed to take somebody else's wants. It's not like we're supposed to railroad people or ignore people or whatever, but there's a difference between being a wonderful human being and allowing someone else's strength of will to overpower your own, because other people are powerful in your 3D only to the extent that you allow them to. Look at how determined she is. You can see how determined she is. Is she someone else in your 3D pile number 3 that you are intimidated by? That you're feeling you could never best, not in a bad way, but in like a, you know, maybe they're the one in the position of authority. Maybe they're the one that you are a little bit intimidated. Isn't even you're unconsciously or subconsciously molding your manifestation your desires around their presence. You're kind of like, you want your manifestation to be like this, but they're here, so you're like making your manifestation go like this. Do you understand what I mean? Like, you're making them have this huge influence on everything you're doing. If that's there, then this might be why we have this Queen of Swords here, this Seven of Swords here, this stabilize your mind kind of thing, and this Four of Swords, which is step back and be the person, be that person that not just be the person, your manifestation of your future self, which is your present self in reality, does not have to take those things into consideration, does not have to take that person's influence into consideration. because they are, in the end, they are your manifestation. So you're only allowing them to have a lot of influence over you because of your beliefs about yourself and them. So we have this really interesting little combination of the Star card and the Queen of Cups. And this is in your what might help you, what might hinder you, what's hidden from you. And this Queen of Cups, the Star card and the Queen of Cups is, I really feel like these are what help you, and there are two aspects of you. The Star card is just you seeing, you are putting into effect this new round of manifestation, so to speak. This new, you've achieved this, and you've got to reassess your entire game and come into this where you are really starting to embody, like you're really starting to first understand the you that you want to be now that you've achieved this, your next goal, and you're going to embody it. You have to reestablish the new you without any consideration for anything that's come before, without any consideration for any another person. You're going to look inside yourself. You're going to look inside yourself and be certain of what you want and become the person that's able to manifest that and embody that person. This is your next task. This is the task that is imminent for you, pile number 3, for your manifestation game, is that you are going to look inside yourself and find what you want to do next. If you notice, there's two, I said he, but I don't know. I'd have to have a bone specialist come in and tell me if this is a girl skeleton or a boy skeleton. But anyway, the skeleton is so happy with this flower, and she is also holding this bouquet in an egg, and she has a flower in her dress. I want to make sure you see it all. I want you to see the details, and then I want you to see the whole thing. So with there's an analogy here that's coming to me to illustrate my point. In the first part, after you have this movement that you've done, that you've manifested this major movement, and then you have this kind of vacuum, and at first you're like the flower, the one little thing has outsized importance to you. Pile number 3, you're like, wow, look at this one flower, so gorgeous. By the time you get all the way over here, you've got several flowers, but it's just one part of your new huge manifestation that you are, your desire that you're manifesting, if that makes sense. Back here, this felt like it was your entire your entire desire that you were manifesting. By the time you get here, you understand that flower that was so huge to you is only a tiny part of what you really desire. I hope that makes sense. And then, as I said, then your job, once you desire something and you start to manifest it consciously, your job is to embody the person that has that already. And then now we have 3 we have 3 cards. This position is well, first of all, I was saving this ivory wish-fulfilling crow for this too. So we have this wish-fulfilling crow, and we have these 3 cards that are well, we have the sun in July, so we have just an echo of that, just power, that beautiful, everything's coming up roses energy. We have so much happiness here and love and light. But this position, this 7th position, is more an ending that is offered to you, a realized manifestation that is offered as a possible outcome for you. And we have this wish-fulfilling crow, which is just such good news. And we have the position of authority. We have the sun, and we have July. We have a lot of yang energy here, so to speak. We have a lot of fire. We have a lot of happiness. And what's interesting, though, is we have the 4 of Swords, which is drawing back in. And we have a Knight of Pentacles, which is slow and steady forward movement. So what I think is we are seeing here is this is a cycle that is going to repeat itself, and that it looks like it really works for you, pile number 3, which is big movement happens, big shift. And then you're like all excited and you just want to keep moving. But for you, there's some sort of rest and reconsideration. There's like, you can even do consideration and reconsideration, like really going within. And once you have big movement in your 3D, you go within and you consider and reconsider what you want going forward. And don't just immediately feel like you have to hurry forward after big movement. Take time to enjoy the happiness that this forward movement, this positive movement brought to you, and also take time to consider what you want next. And never allow some other person in the 3D to have this outsized or any sort of influence on what you are manifesting, because even if they're here and they're this huge, maybe they are a sun on their own that you see, that you envision, that you think of as this huge thing, this huge power, and that you have to kind of sneak around the edges and get what you can get over in the edge, instead of like, no, I'm able to, this is my huge desire, and I'm going to manifest this huge desire. It doesn't matter. And this is the process that seems to work for you, because it's this, you are promised this next desire that you have. This next desire that you have, because you've already, in the past, you already got this desire fulfilled, and this is your journey to this next desire that's being fulfilled. And then the cycle is going to start again. You're going to go within. You're going to make sure that that's what you know, your next desire is what you want. And you're going to start your forward movement again and again. And you're going to get better and better at it, and more comfortable with it each time it happens. And you have a beautiful system here for fulfilling your desires. And that's why your pile was stabilize your mind, because that's exactly the process that works best for you. And this is exactly what brings you this beautiful sun fulfillment, this warmth and light and happiness fulfillment. So this is what I have for you today, pile number 3. What a beautiful reading, an uplifting reading, a reading that means so much happiness and joy for you. And over again, every cycle is going to be the same, of more and more success building on itself. And I would love it if you gave me a comment and a like, because I love hearing from you and hearing your successes and hearing what you have to say about all of this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe so that you don't miss any future readings. And I know I will see you very soon. Bye for now.